Hey everyone, welcome to the Urban Robot Cat podcast. I'm your host, Travis Likens.
I'm Chris RWK.
And I'm Corey from Strange Cat Toys.
And we're back for episode 67, which is roughly almost 2 years since the last time we did this. So if we seem a little rusty, it's because we are. And if Chris's microphone rubbing with whatever he's doing here is causing you audio issues.
That's not me. My phone is just sitting steady.
I think
I like it
or something. Okay,
it's
I don't know.
nostalgia.
Yeah. I noticed that as Corey and I talk, it's still not doing it. So it must be Chris.
I'm not doing anything. Seriously, my phone is sitting in a damn stand right now.
As you can see, nothing's changed in 2 years.
I was about to say, all you people that said you wanted this back, are you regretting that? Because, like this is all it is. Just three guys bantering back and forth, yelling at Chris because he's old. And talking about the weather. So crazy stuff going on here in Ohio, just like torrential downpour and so much wind that it blew my 12-foot skeleton over. Insanity. Pulled it out of the ground.
Yeah, the wind today is brutal up here. And it's supposed to be like this for the next 2 days.
No snow?
So yeah. Just a little flurry, but yeah, nothing crazy or anything.
It was snow the other day.
Yeah, so I guess the way this show used to be, for those of you that are back listening to us again, is we would talk about what we were up to since the last time we talked. So in this case, that is almost 2 years. So Chris, what have you been up to for the last 2 years?
I got grayer. What else? No, I had a past 2 years. I mean, especially 2025, had a lot of solo shows, did really well. Stayed busy. That's really about it. We got some new things coming for 2026. I got the show January 17th over in Amsterdam, and then January 22nd in Italy.
Is this your first time going to Amsterdam?
To Amsterdam, yeah. Okay.
Italy was last year, right? You did that?
No, I think that was 2 years ago already.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. So this time I'm going to be up in Monza, which is up by Milan. So it'll be a totally different area. And then in Amsterdam will be interesting. I'm showing with Sui and the London Police Gallery there. So it should be cool.
Nice.
What about you, Corey? What have you been up for 2 years?
Oh, making more toys. We moved store locations, just in the same plaza, just bigger. We look fancy now. No more IKEA shelving. We got a new bus, but it's not a real bus. It's a tiny little Japanese van.
You got a nice new mural at the end of your parking lot, too.
I do. Courtesy of you and Mombot. That thing is massive. I think you guys were well underpaid for that, but that's okay.
I was happy. That's all I cared about.
Also, a couple of new ones inside the store that you did.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that, too.
Mm-hmm. Did our door. Brian said he's going to come and do our other door, since you couldn't do both. He said you were slacking, so we'll pick up the slack.
Oh. Yeah, I had to sleep somewhat.
Yeah. But you, Travis?
Well, I've been pretty busy. Had another kid, so there's that. We moved houses, so that's where I have this new set that you see. We also closed the warehouse, so you're also in the warehouse in this new set. So it's been kind of busy as far as life is concerned, and kind of getting things ready for the future. We've released a lot of different toys over the past couple of years with a lot of different artists, but really kind of mostly dealing with the issues of the past year, which is the economy's been up and down, and the things like tariffs and all kinds of stuff like that really eating into how we do business. Sure. So trying to figure all that out and figure out how to survive in the future. But we think we have a good game plan for 2026, and we have a lot of cool projects with people like Chris in the works. So we are excited to kind of roll into the new year and really kind of get after it again, because the last year has been a little interesting, trying to figure out the best way to do things, and I think we've got a clearer plan how to do that now. So really working towards 2026.
Dude, it
So,
was so hard to plan at the beginning of this year for what this year was, but I feel like we're in a better spot to plan for the
yeah,
future.
and and I think a lot of people were not necessarily, like really looking for art toys or art in general. So, it's like they were a little busy thinking about other things. So I think it wasn't the time to be shoving tons of new releases down people's throats. So we kind of paused and really kind of took and reevaluated it. So and then now I think we have a good plan for it.
For sure. I put that comment in there, but Dangerbot wants to know, does Travis only wear wrestling shirts? If so,
I
that's
also
awesome.
I also wear McDonald's paraphernalia a lot, and
Some NASCAR.
well, yeah, the
Some,
McDonald's NASCAR. It's like tied together. So
It's got to have that crossover. Can't
yeah,
just be any
yeah.
NASCAR.
But yeah,
yeah.
so for the most part, I wear wrestling T-shirts from about 30 years ago, 25 years ago. That's mostly what I wear.
They hold up a little bit better than those new shirts, right?
Well, they're made out of like at the time they were just like the cheapest T-shirts you can find, but that happens to be the T-shirts that last the longest.
Yeah, they're like Kevlar.
Yeah, they're like solid steel, like over you.
The shirts that Corey hates.
Yeah,
Yes.
Corey wants these like thin, paper thin shirts that the decal washes off of them in like half a wash.
They don't have to be thin, but I just don't like a stiff, starchy box shirt. Like some movement,
No, you just want it to like lay over your body like a thing, like that, like what's it called with those like interlocking chains, chainmail. You just want it to lay over your body.
Show off my figure.
So to tie this back to one of our last episodes that we did and what we've done over the past 2 years, we launched Collected Con. So one of the last episodes we did was to talk to you about Collected Con, and we talked to you about basically how we weren't going to shove Collected Con down your throat. And we effectively didn't do that because we did one episode and then we didn't do any more. So we did not shove it down your throat. But we're back to say that Collected Con is now 2 years under our belt, going into the third year. And, it's, we did the 2 years in Chicago. And, we had a lot of fun out there. We did a lot of cool things at the event. But after this year, back to reevaluating and doing some math and figuring out what's working, what's not working. Unfortunately, our venue was absolutely beautiful in Chicago, and we had a lot of really good feedback on the venue. But it was also very expensive, and lots of costs there, lots of costs for the venue rental, but also all the costs that go into running a show. And we heard the feedback from the vendors, and cost was a major concern. So we started to reevaluate how we were doing things. And as a part of that, we started looking at other venues, looked at a number of venues in Chicago that we were able to locate, but we're not successful in finding one that alleviated all the problems that we had, which is we need one big enough for the space that we obviously had and hopefully room to grow, but also getting those costs down. So we did start looking around, and we found what we think is a great venue option for us in Los Angeles. And we have decided to move the show out to LA. And see how things kind of go out there. So that's kind of where we're at on Collected Con 2026, but it is actually coming up very quickly. We're just under 4 months, or well, I guess just over 4 months away. No, we're 4 months away, basically.
Yeah.
So, end of April, we'll be doing Collected Con in Los Angeles. And we're really excited about it. It is already the biggest Collected Con that's ever happened as far as number of vendors is concerned. And ticket sales have been going like crazy. So we're really excited for Collected Con 2026 and to see a lot of you guys out there and a lot of you guys coming out and supporting. We've got a lot of cool stuff going on right now as far as like getting things produced and prepped for Collected Con 2026. And, it's just a really exciting time to be a part of the event. And we wanted to just talk about that a little bit as well as we're kind of rolling into bringing this show back and talking about what we've been doing. So, oh, wait, we've got someone that said, oh, crap, it's this soon. Yes, it is that soon. It is
Get to work,
April
Lostlings.
2026. Start making your products for the show now.
Yes. Well, artists, like most of these people aren't going to start making until we're like 2 weeks away. It's just the way it is. We get it.
Yeah, look at Chris. He's working on it right now. Look at that little thing.
I didn't know we were moving to California. I gotta change my flight.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, I did really love Chicago. Chicago was a great city. Love it in general. But yeah, it was just, if we were going to continue it there, we would have had to have gotten smaller, and that's not really the point of what we're trying to do here, you know?
Yeah, and it's not to say that we'll never figure out a way to do it in Chicago, just not the way we were doing it. And we're still evaluating how we can do other shows in other places, but at the moment, we just really have to get one working for us, and then we can figure out where we want to go from there. So it's
Yeah, it'll
just
be like Warp Tour. Maybe we'll have 3 or 4 shows in a year.
yeah, and then we'll just eventually get a bunch of tour buses and go all over the country and show up at every small, medium-sized city across the country.
There you go.
And we're all sleeping in bunks in the same bus. Let's see here. We'll be We'll be spraying in the parking lot. Go for it. Whatever it takes to get things done, right?
Yeah.
Lostlings are pros. I'm sure they'll have no problem filling up their booth and then selling out immediately.
Prime, I have to watch it on tomorrow. I can't watch it tonight.
These are the sacrifices you make, right? When you're running 3 different businesses
and a podcast and parent of 3 and a job. So, but yeah, these are the sacrifices we have to make. So, but Collecticon right now, like I said, is already the biggest Collecticon that's ever been, and we're really excited to have it at Magic Box LA. Really kind of get it out there in front of people and a different audience, and bring more people into the fold, hopefully, and continue to grow it and continue to expand what we're doing. I think we can say this, Corey. Do you want to say who one of the artists is that we'll be supporting as our official show poster artist?
Yeah. So one of our featured artists, we have 2 featured artists. One's going to be international, and then one is domestic, local to LA. But our international artist is Abao from China, and she's been nice enough to do a full poster design, which will change into shirts and merch, and we'll have pins, and who knows, maybe we'll have a toy.
Maybe. It's almost like something.
I know a guy.
Know a guy. So, but yeah, so we're really excited for it, and we're really excited to get more information out there. And we are here to say that we are choosing to use Urban Robot Cat as a vehicle in order to shamelessly self-promote our event. So we will continue to bring you more information. So if you're a Collecticon attendee or vendor and are just interested in what's going on at Collecticon, tune in as we do these episodes, and you'll be able to learn more information as we go.
Yeah, we'll be doing some updates, some spotlights, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and not just about us. Like, it won't just be like UVD Toys Week for Collecticon. We're going to try to get some people on here to talk about what they're doing and what they're planning to do for the event. So, look at that. We got a question for Chris. You probably can't see it, so I'll read it to him. It says, yes. Chris not being in the running for featured artist, that's pretty rude. So the funny thing is Chris was a featured artist the first year because he was the shirt and he was the badge. And that was strictly because we had no money to pay
him. and DangerBot would have known this if he would have came, but you haven't come, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, what the hell?
So the one beautiful thing about being a partner in an event that you're trying to get off the ground is that you end up doing work for free because nobody else can do it.
100%. Nah, maybe for the 10th anniversary, I'll join back in and do a design.
And maybe by then we can afford to pay you.
I think you're working up some like a pin design or something at least, right?
Oh, that's right. I got to do that. Right. Yeah, I'll get on that this week.
You've got 4 months to go, man.
That'll be one of my first projects for 2026.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, Chris, weren't you telling me that it's 25 years of the robot next year?
Well, yeah, when the website launched March 2021. So March 2026 will be 25 years of Robots Will Kill. Yeah. Well, we're gonna plan some special stuff for the anniversary.
Yeah, and it's also 10 years of UVD Toys, so it'll be 10 years in February since we launched the Kickstarter for Luna with the bots. So it's 10 years of UVD Toys since we've been producing toys. So it's like kind of a cool year because there's a lot of anniversaries. That's the word I'm looking for. That's the best part about doing this live is that you can't edit out like the dumb words you can't remember.
What
Yeah,
about you, Troy?
my
Any-
tenure
any
was
others?
in April this year. It's already happened.
Oh, it goes for a full year. So
Oh, okay.
technically, yeah,
Still in it. We're
still-
gonna end it at Collected Con.
exactly. Exactly.
So,
Hey, if Disney can do it for, you can.
True.
Just drag it on.
look at this right here. It was a cool shirt for the first year. I have it signed and framed. Look at that.
Oh, thank you
Yeah,
very
but-
much.
Jose is very happy with your shirt.
I appreciate that.
So
What's up, Jose?
let's see. I'm trying to check the comments. Kind of hard to run a show and do the comments, but we're still learning. We've only done maybe 5 of these lives, so we kind of suck at this. So we are professionals, though. You may not realize it.
Could be worse. Could be worse. We could not be doing it at all.
Yeah, well, it could be like the last 2 years.
There you go.
Who knows when the next one will be? Don't leave.
Yeah. Yeah,
What could
yeah.
happen?
yeah.
I
With
love,
these
I love that Danger Bot was like, I hear it's going to be weekly. I read that. I was like, what?
He wishes.
So, but yeah, I mean, we leave the people wanting more. How many people at DCon came up and told you they were sad that we weren't podcasting anymore? I heard at least 3. So where are those people at? Why aren't they listening?
Absolutely. I definitely heard. I heard that was a major complaint, and I think I don't know. This year we should try and maybe record an episode at Collecticon.
That sounds like something we should do, but may not have the time to do.
Maybe we'll do it like the night before.
Well,
Ooh, preview.
Like a
we can just
walkthrough
have
kinda
people
thing, you
walk
know?
in, like do
The,
little interviews. Like,
Yeah.
Toys on Tap's gonna be there. Maybe we can work out a little
we have-
Toys on Tap UVD or Urban Robot Cat thing.
Oh, I thought you were just trying to get them to interview me.
Well, I was gonna say, for those who don't know, what exactly is Toys on Tap?
Toys on Tap started as like a toy podcast, and they would interview different
Hey.
artists and brands
Toys
and
on
stuff
Tap
like
is
that.
in the
Hey, there
chat.
he is.
He's in the chat.
But now they're making toys. I don't know if have you seen any of their like that kaiju claw? I think looks awesome.
Yeah, I saw the Instagram piece about that.
Yeah, so if you don't
Definitely.
know, check out Toys on Tap. I think they're doing they're not doing a Kickstarter. I think they're just doing a pre-order for it. So
Hey.
Yeah,
Well,
and so
if they
you're a fan
steal
of-
if they steal $250,000, you can sue them
Oh,
because it's not on
jeez.
Kickstarter. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm just saying.
hey, $250,000, man.
Woo!
Let's talk about happy things. Let's talk about happy things.
I just will say one thing that's about that is that it's really sad that anybody would do that, let alone who did it. But it's really sad for the industry as a whole because now it feels like that tarnishes everyone's pre-orders or their Kickstarters or whatever. That people will have that in the back of their mind that maybe now it doesn't happen, right? So look at that right there. Yeah, we help creators that can't afford the process or don't know the process to create work. That's the kind of people we need doing this kind of stuff because there's a lot of people that either think they can do it and then they reach out to people and they get screwed because of maybe they get to the wrong factory or they get something like that, or there's some people that think they can do it and then they don't have the right tools and resources and all that kind of stuff, and their stuff never gets made. So it's great to have somebody that can help usher those people along. Corey and I do that every day, to help bring these projects to life. And the goal is to make sure that we're making cool and awesome toys. So more people doing that is always a good thing in my mind.
Yeah, same. And I very much don't believe in the gatekeeping stuff and art communities. Help other artists grow. You're not competing with other artists. You're an individual artist. You compete with nobody unless you're all making Donald Duck figures or something, So don't worry about helping people out. I know Chris has been doing it for 25 years.
I'm not doing it anymore. I gave up. I retired. So
Gave up
I'm out for
making or gave up
myself.
helping people.
I'm selling out. I want the big bucks. That's it.
Hey, if you sell out and you get the big bucks, then it trickles down to me. So I guess go for it.
There you go. The only 2 people I ever make toys with is you two. So that's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean the whole situation with that Kickstarter is just awful, as far as how everybody how it was handled. It's one thing to fail at something, and it's another thing to handle it in such a way that basically you're just throw your hands up, walk away, and then ghost everybody, and then put other things up for sale. It's just regardless of failing or not, it's just a horrible way to handle it. So that's my main comment is no matter what happened, because I don't fully understand exactly what all happened. I don't think anybody will ever fully understand exactly what all happened. But the way it was finished was not the way that any of that should be handled.
Yeah, and with that, we should probably move on from that topic.
So
Yes.
April was it April 25th and 20 when is Collected Con?
I think you were right. 25th and 26th.
25th and 26th. That is correct.
And on Saturday, Corey's going to tell you about an after party.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our friends at Newtown and Sonic Boombox are nice enough to host our after party again, which is amazing. Cindy, super nice person. If you don't know Cindy, go follow Newtown.
Visit their store in New York.
Yes. Yeah. Queens, right?
Yes. Storia.
Cute little shop. Tons of different things. Even if you don't collect art toys or blind boxes, they got all sorts of stuff. Like you'll find something cool there. But yeah, they're hosting us. I forget the name of the bowling alley, but it's a bowling alley in
It's called Splitsville.
Splits. Is it Splitsville? I don't think it's Splitsville.
Oh, I thought that's what you told me. Because I was like, I've been there.
No. I don't think it's one of those chain ones.
Okay.
But it's like 6 minutes from the official Collecticon hotel, which you can find at the Collecticon website. If you book a hotel there, you can't use the code online. You have to call old school. I know people are scared to talk to people over the phone, but just call and give the code over the phone. It's the Style downtown Los Angeles.
Corey, can you book mine? I don't want to call.
Okay. But yeah, so it'll be at the bowling alley. It's free to play the lanes. You pay for drinks and food if you want to. It's free for all pass holders. But if you're not a pass holder for the event, then you have to pay. I think it's like $5 or $10 to get in, so it's not too bad. All vendors can come in for free too. So hang out with vendors, slap fives with Mumbot, bowl with Mumbot.
We'll be doing some giveaways or some raffles and whatnot, right?
Yep, we're gonna do some raffles, maybe live painting. I don't know. We're still trying to work out all the details. I think Kaleidos might do some stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. It's I think we're doing it like an hour after show closes, and it'll run till like 10 o'clock. So you can just head straight over from Collected Con to the hotel and then go hang out at not Splitsville.
So the after party will start after the show, though.
Oh yeah, that'd be weird to do it during the show.
Yeah,
You do that.
it's not like anybody's ever done that before, but
Weird.
and I am going to say here, so we're talking about the code for the hotel. There's a major advantage of staying at that hotel, and that is that if you're a vendor or attendee, there will be a shuttle that's running during the days of the show to take you from the hotel to the venue. Not sure exactly on the schedule
Morning
yet,
and evening.
but morning and evening you'll be able to get there. How long it's going to take them to get back and forth, not 100% sure yet, but there will be a shuttle running between the hotel and the venue. So it's a major advantage, especially if you're looking at like having to rent a car or something. You could possibly avoid that, at least for the days of the days of the show. So
Yeah, and I wouldn't walk. Take the shuttle or take an Uber.
it's downtown LA, guys.
Yeah.
Definitely don't walk at night.
It just is what it is.
Yeah, it just is what it is. It's downtown LA. Come on.
But yeah,
So-
what con has ever offered a shuttle service? That's never heard of that.
I'm sure there's cons that have offered a shuttle service. We are not the first people to ever think of that.
Shut up,
Maybe
Travis.
designer toys. Like
Yeah. What designer toy con has ever offered a shuttle service? None.
And we'll have Corey driving the shuttle bus.
I have experience. I could.
Exactly.
I guess if the guy got sick.
last minute we call Corey in. Where's Corey? Oh, he's driving the bus.
I know what I'm doing. I drove a bus around for like 4 years.
So But yeah, no, Collecticon is going to be a good time, and we're trying to make it accessible and easy for folks, that take advantage of things like the hotel discounts. So we're really trying to make this a good experience for everyone. So again, excited to get this going, excited to reveal more artists and brands that are coming out for the show. And we're just excited to get the show kind of rolling again. But, probably enough about Collecticon shoving it down people's throats. We'll have, many more episodes. Look at that. Look what I did there to do that.
Many more.
Many more.
Corey, you heard him. You heard him. Travis agreed to do more episodes. So we're good.
So what I agreed to is that there'd be many more episodes. There may be a revolving cast of people on the show over the
Yes, we may have stand-ins for Travis. So
or Chris or whoever else that can't make it to the show. Maybe Corey won't make it to an episode one week.
I'm always ready. I'm always ready.
So but our goal will be to
middle of January. I'll be at Disney, so I can't go there.
Look, he's already saying, "Oh, I'll be here every time."
Yeah, what the hell?
But we have decided, based on listener feedback, that the show must go on, whether there is 3 of us, 2 of us, or some other person has to join in. The show must go on. So the old showbiz rules. Like DangerBot, we'll do many more episodes 18 months from now. Hey, some shows, it's like that. We're still waiting on Dr. Dre to drop his album, the follow-up to 2001. It's coming, man. It's coming someday.
I was going to say, how long, look how long it was in between the Sopranos episodes,
True. Or fucking Stranger Things. Goddamn, like 3 years.
Yeah. What about Game of Thrones, the book? HBO couldn't wait, and then everybody got mad because they made a bad show. So, sometimes you just got to wait. So, on other topics, Corey wanted to talk a little bit about the state or where things are in designer toys. So one of our earliest episodes was talk about current status of designer toys, and that was sometime around COVID affecting designer toys. It was a long time ago. I can't remember all the details, but Corey want to talk about the state of designer toys. So I will let Corey expand on designer toys and art and what the state of that is, post COVID, post tariffs, post all that. So go ahead, Corey. What do you want to talk about?
Sure. Yeah. And if anybody has anything in the comments to talk about, drop them in the YouTube comments. We're not really keeping up on the Instagram comments, but
the system does not put those into our feed. Yeah. So it's only the YouTube ones.
Like I was saying, this year was so hard to plan for, and things feel very different than, you said you're having your 10-year anniversary, and I just had mine. Things are a lot different than 10 years ago, like all the big brands that we knew and loved they're all gone for the most part, unless I'm mistaken.
And brands that have come and go since we started making toys. I mean, Super Plastic is gone. They started post us, right?
They're having some sort of revitalization with a new owner, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but the Super Plastic, as we know it, ended last spring with the tariffs, right? So
yeah, what was that, like a 5-year run? It's not very long.
Wasn't too long, yeah. But that's what happens when you get a bunch of venture capital and then it doesn't turn around. So, but yeah, I mean, it was like you're saying. I mean, the last year has been kind of a roller coaster for anybody. Like, not just toys, not just art. Anybody that's trying to sell you something that is not something you need to survive. People in general are reevaluating how they spend their money, and what they spend their money on, and what they want from it. We kind of saw that throughout the past year with, or at least what I saw in the designer toy world specifically, was that people were going for more quote unquote affordable purchases, stuff that was $20 and under, maybe, with Labubus up to, what are those, like $40? Like, what's a Labubu cost?
Yeah.
So people were going for stuff that was like sub $40. Previously, the past 10 years of making toys, the bread and butter price point for UVD toys was $50 to $100. Bread and butter all day, every day.
$80 was like my good price point.
You could sell those toys all day, every day. You'd sell 150, 200, 250 of them, in a week or so max for most of the releases we did. You know, obviously some things, you know, didn't sell like that, but in general, that's what you could kind of plan for, is you were going to sell a good percentage of the toys you made between 150 and $100. That market for me has kind of flipped upside down. Like, I'm not saying I don't sell anything at that price point, but it is not a guarantee that you're going to sell those products like it was. That just isn't the case. Now people seem to want higher end, more exclusive, in my case, more artistic sculpture multiples, and they want those at a premium price point. People are saving up; they're buying less, and they're saving up for one big thing that they can buy, which is a major change to how this process has worked for the last 10 years for us. It was more about volume, more about like making an affordable product that you could sell, a lot of across multiple colorways, and do all, play the colorway game, make a bunch of different, make 1,000 pieces, break them up over a bunch of colorways or whatever. That is not the case right now. Like, I can't
Yeah, I
imagine
feel
trying
like
to make
you're like
1,000 of anything.
you're like 3 colors is kind of like your max these days.
Yeah, and the way right now, what people seem to want is limited edition. In my case, I'm trying to keep those down to, in some cases, like 100 pieces max, and trying to sell those at a very high price point. And it's working. That's been working for me. So I'm not saying it's going to work forever, but it's a way for me to continue to make cooler and cooler products. As far as, like, if you've seen things like we did with the Doe's Green, the Narcissus piece, we're going to be doing more high-end sculptural type pieces that are limited edition, sold with a certificate of authenticity, and really kind of tapping into the art side of things even more than we already were, because historically what we were trying to do was get those art prices down to $100 or so, but I'm not as concerned about that anymore, because it seems like people are really craving limited more than they are craving affordability. At least that's
Well,
what I'm saying.
I think you and I are on like opposite ends of that, spectrum. And I think we had talked in text about, like, I told you that, like, kind of like K economy, where you have, the people that are making like over 100 grand and they have investments and stuff, they're doing pretty well, compared to, the people that were kind of mid and lower class. It's kind of going down. And I think that mid and lower class is probably where a lot of us were. And so that's where, like, that $50 to $100 price point wasn't so bad, but now that expendable income is pretty much gone. So those people are hitting that like $20, $15 blind box and still kind of getting that same dopamine hit. And, I got a cool toy. It looks nice. I can put it on my shelf, but I'm not going to break the bank. Where I think and even with the artists that you work with, are more on the art side of things. And those people are already kind of familiar. They may have paintings, or they're used to paying that kind of dollar price. Yep. But you've also kind of cut your run sizes down.
Yeah. Well, that's twofold. One is because of that's what I feel like the market is craving,
Yep.
And then two, because when I did get rid of the warehouse, I don't physically have as much space to store things, so keeping run sizes smaller is kind of a necessity in a way, because I don't want to be sitting on a bunch of stock that I can't turn over quickly, because I don't want to have to get a storage unit or do whatever I have to do. And right now, other than having to carry my stuff up and down a set of stairs, my basement warehouse is working out pretty well. So,
well, I do think it's good on you to continue what you're doing and not just stopping production like so many brands have, just because it just got scary and unmanageable. You figured out a path to keep doing it and still put out really cool work from a lot of artists.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of that's like a tortured soul. I got to keep doing this because I love it, right? Like, but I also hate it.
Like, well,
that's not that I hate it. It's just you get frustrated by it, because like the things that you think are going to work, they don't work anymore. So you got to figure out new ways to make things work. Which when you get busy with life and things going on, it becomes more challenging. It's not as, I'm not saying it was on autopilot. It wasn't. The goal was always to create the coolest pieces we could create. But it's a major shock to the system when you then have to go find new suppliers and new processes and work with new people and figure out how you're going to make this work again in a different evolving market that is not giving you any kind of indication of what they really want, right? So
Yeah, and and not to keep bringing this back to Collected Con, but that's another. It's a passion thing. We love this toy community. We don't want it to die off. We're not making money hand over fist on Collected Con. It's uh, it's a hopefully we break even situation.
Any money.
It's a loss leader at this point.
Because we want this community to stay alive and grow. And if you're an artist out there and you're fighting those Instagram algorithms and stuff, like, it's so hard. But especially if you're local to LA, it's worth investing in yourself to come out to these kinds of things and meet people. Because even if you only sold enough to cover your table, the networking and meeting fans in person, there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of flack because of the move of Collected Con, but back to the comments before, it's like we want to provide people with a space to be able to do that, but we also can't take a bath every year. Like we have to figure out a way to make this show profitable, or it's not going to be. I mean, walking out of 2025, the math was not mathing. And it was not in a place that we could continue to keep sinking money into the show without at least breaking even. So we had to look at what we were doing and figure out a smarter way to do it, which is, again, the same thing that we're doing on the toy side. I mean, Corey's doing it too. Chris, you're probably doing it with your art, planning for what people want to buy, and the levels and what people are willing to do things at. And you've had different successes with creating smaller, your pewter pieces. They were pewter, right?
Yeah. When I cast the pewter pieces. Yeah,
pewter pieces, and the pieces you did for Corey's show that were more, varying price points. You're feeling it too as an artist, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, the show I did with Skewville in November, I kind of geared all the pricing to be, more buyer friendly. We sold, over 100 original pieces, and then we sold over 100 like product pieces, like pins and patches and stuff. But it was all stuff that was more geared towards the collector. Not the higher painting price points like normal, which I have no problem with. Because I've always said that I love that. 100 people could have my paintings rather than one person. It's kind of been the driving force for the past 20, 30 years actually. So yeah, I mean, you just gotta you gotta know how to move. I mean, that's one thing I think artists right now are, a lot of them are angry and a lot of them are kind of throwing their hands up in the air, but kind of now's the time to reinvent yourself, try to do something different, make moves that you wouldn't have made when you were comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it came down to with closing the warehouse. It's like I closed the warehouse before I had to. My lease was up, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm doing okay right now, and it's starting to get a little tighter. I can feel the economy starting to pull back a little bit. But if I stay here, there's a good chance that I won't be in business. So that decision there was multiple facets of that decision, but a big part of that decision was I felt like it's time to be lean again. The time when I was most successful was when I did not have this building, and it's time to figure out a new way to do this. And that is exactly why, exactly the driving point to the decision. Now, there's lots of things that fell into place that allowed me to do that allowed me to make that decision. But that decision was based on, it feels like it's time to figure out a new way to do this.
Yeah. That's why I eat ramen once a week, top ramen, to keep myself humble,
Yep.
Just remember,
eating like the people.
Dude,
exactly.
the ramen ain't cheap anymore. What, it used to be like a dime.
Dude, I saw that. It used to, you'd be able to get like a 10-pack for like $1 something. Now it's like $5 something. It's crazy.
Let's see. Oh, sorry. There was an error message I was reading on my side, but it is not an error that we need to worry about. So,
okay, good.
But yeah, I mean, it just feels like it feels like the scene is going through a very similar thing that it went through in 2010, 11, 12. It feels like this is like an evolution point where things are changing and something will come out the other side, which is about the time that Corey and I got started. So there's probably someone out there that's like the new Corey and Travis, the next wave of this, that's going to come along and it's going to evolve out of this. And they're going to figure out ways to make things, doing the things they want to do, because brands have gone away, right? So there's not as many people out there making stuff for people. So either artists are making the stuff themselves, or there'll be somebody new that thinks they can, make things better than Corey and I, and they will and they will decide to start making things. Like, that's the driver, right? Somebody comes along and they love this and they have a passion for it. So hopefully we find that next person that has that passion that can help replace some of the brands that have gone away over the last, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and
because there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them.
If that next person is listening, you need to go into it knowing you probably won't make money for the first 2 to 5 years. You're building up your brand and your credibility, so you be prepared to go a couple years without seeing much of a return.
Can you guys hear like a fan? All of a sudden, a fan came on. Okay, let me go on mute here. Then I'll let you guys talk a little bit. But yeah, so like it's a good time, right? It's a good time to be a part of the scene and kind of see where it's going, but it's hard to project what we need to do next, and I think that's where we're all at as far as designer toys are concerned.
Toys on tap. Okay. I just warned my wife I'm in. All right, as long as she knows, because she's got to know, because if she's not in, you may as well call it quits now.
Well, the important thing to note is that oftentimes someone that's a podcast, a blog, or something like that ends up being the next person that makes things. So that could be you.
I do see, like, one of the big changes I've noticed in the last 10 years is that toy customs have, for the most part, gone away. And a lot of people are creating their original characters. And I would say over like the past 5 years, we've seen a lot of original characters and resin and stuff. And then in the last year and a half, I'm seeing this huge wave of 3D printed toys that people are sanding down and getting to perfection and painting. And those are coming out amazing. The tech with the 3D printing is pretty wild. What people are able to do in their own garages now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it, is technology has come along that has replaced the idea of taking a platform and customizing it. I think another thing that's happened is there's not a leading platform. So like there were a few leading platforms, say the Dunny, say the Mattel, like there's a number of them from back in the day that people would customize, and there's not collectors of one particular platform as much. I feel like,
but maybe just the Bear Brick, but that I feel like is a totally different realm of collector.
It never had like a custom following.
No.
But like I feel like that's part of it, and then I think the technology is the other part. Is it's easier to do that. I do feel like people that print out a bunch of stuff and hand paint all that stuff, that seems like way more work than like printing one, molding it, casting it.
Oh, dude, I agree with you, and that was going to kind of be my follow-up, to those artists that are spending, because I've 3D printed and sanded and stuff, and it's a lot of fucking work, and you're putting like 6-7 hours into one piece you're selling for $100. You're not doing yourself much of a service. I mean, yeah, it's cool to get your stuff out there, but I would suggest doing what a lot of the artists do in the different Asian countries, is find a factory, make blanks. Blanks are pretty inexpensive. Most of your cost is in the mold, and have them ship you 100 of them and paint them at home. It's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of effort, and you can make 5 at a time or one-offs here and there. And I think that's a better way to build up your brand over investing in 3D printing and sanding and repairing your 3D printer when it breaks, because I've had to do that too.
Yeah, I mean, and we're talking about 3D printing is the biggest self-manufactured movement. I agree with that statement, but if you're trying to make more than like 10, it's way more work. You're going to put way more hours into it than you're ever going to be able to sell that thing for. Like, unless you're just a super high-end artist that's using 3D prints. It's one of those things that like Corey was saying, is there's either you print out one, make that as perfect as possible, and then you mold off of that and do it yourself at home, or you send it off somewhere and just get a bunch of blanks made that you can then paint yourself, because you're just they work to get a 3D print where it needs to be sellable is still very high. I mean, as far as most people are concerned.
Yeah. And then, if you're not a great painter, that's okay. I'm not a great painter either. We have the grandpa Safubi, but I had the factory make me paint masks. So, I'm not super skilled at painting by hand. So I use an airbrush just like they would at the factory. And I put the spray mask over the eyes and I can color the eyes. So, you can get a Cricut printer and print out different masks too, and do different designs. So there's ways to do it. If you're not a skilled painter, you can still paint your toys. I would highly recommend is ordering blanks and doing it that way.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, maybe it's cheaper to print them out yourself, but time-wise, you're going to invest so much time into it, that it's going to make it hard and difficult. Which was also a very contentious point of designer toy customs, right? Like, you put a lot of time into something, like a 3-inch dunny specifically, and back in the day, like selling one of those for $100 was like a pretty high bar. That was like more than $100, and people were really thinking about it, right? So like,
well, and then you got the gallery cuts too if you're selling it at a show.
Yeah, I was more talking about direct, but yeah, like if you were selling it, direct out of your store at $100, like you were probably making like $2 an hour, like, because it was still a lot of work. And like the 3D prints are in the same realm. Like, yeah, you can sell a certain amount, sell them for a certain amount, but like at the end of the day, like molding and casting is still, if you need to make 10, 20, 30 of them, is still the better way to go. If you need 100 of them, then you need to get a factory or something to make them for you, I feel like.
Well, yeah, because like I've made blanks, and I'll be honest with the pricing. Like, your mold, depending on how complicated it is, if you make it in China, is probably, I don't know, $1,500 to $3,500, and then your costs for blanks are going to be $5 to $12. So, you can invest $3,500 in a simple design, and you have 100 toys to sell. I think you can recoup that a lot quicker than all the 3D printing.
And if I can make a mold and a cast, anybody can.
True.
Heck, I've done it before too. I've done it before too. Like, it's not that bad. Like, so, and that was before I even had a 3D printer. So like, you can figure it out. Like, it's not that difficult. There's lots of videos out there on YouTube on how to make them silicone mold. Pull out all your Legos from when you were a kid or whatever, and like make a little box out of them. There's lots of videos out there.
If you don't want to learn it on your own, you can hire a local based caster like Murderbird. He'll cast for you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Great work.
Lostling says we do 100 per month, 3D printed, hand painted, but we're also full time. So yeah, so if this is all the Lostlings does, so I can understand them doing that, and they do limited releases for each. They're not making 50 of each design, and they have so many different characters, so that I can get. But if you're John or Sally or whoever, and you're trying to do this in between your shifts, like, it's very hard to do.
Yeah, and you're really painting colorways, we'll say, right, or like custom individual versions of the same thing over and over again. That's the key, is if you're doing the same thing over and over again, or if you do something like Horrible Adorables, where they were flocking those, and you don't have to worry as much about getting the sanding just perfect.
Yeah,
right? That's another way to work around it as well with the 3D prints.
Well, I didn't know they were all limited to 50. Holy shit. You guys are fucking...
I feel like we should at some point get them on here to talk about this process, because maybe they know some stuff than us uninformed idiots over here don't. Because they seem like they've got a plan and a way to do it. Let's see. We got another comment here. Look at that. That's a good way to do it. Toys on Tap is get those blanks and then have people do it. Or you can do like Chris and I and make bunches of vinyl blanks and then do nothing with them.
Well, that's our secret weapon that we're releasing in like 5-10 years. What are you talking about? Shh. Don't say anything.
After Chris dies, you'll be sitting on a gold mine.
Exactly.
Dude, I'm not really. I don't have that much anymore. If I'm going to be rich.
Brandon has a question. Says, "Are you worried about AI at all with the 3D figures?"
Nope.
Yeah, no, not really. People don't seem too keen on AI when it comes to art, like at all. So,
well, the bro dudes like it.
Oh my god, yeah. This fucking guy came in and like pointed at one of Chris's paintings on the wall and said to his friend, he's like, "This fucking AI picture here, and they're trying to sell it for $300. Like, are you a fucking idiot? You don't see like the paint on the canvas? Like, this is not a print, you fucking dipshit."
Well, I should fess up now to you, Corey. Those were all AI. I just Chat GPT them all. Is that how you
for
do
the last
that?
25 years? I'm impressed.
Chat GPT, that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why he had all those artists submitting stuff to his website so he could run it through his AI algorithm in 2002.
Yes, I was way ahead of the curve. Nobody knew.
Yeah, I mean, I we had talked about AI art in our text group not that long ago. What artist was it that I said used AI? It wasn't Gary Baseman.
Ryden.
Mark Ryden. Yeah.
Let's say that I don't think Mark Ryden did that. I think the company that made the
he did it,
but he approved it.
No, he did it. He said, like, if you read the comments, he said he spent like weeks doing prompts and getting different scene images and video and stuff. Like he said it wasn't like it was just a plug and play.
Yeah, and since then, I saw Ron English did a bunch of AI stuff, and people are pretty upset about that too. Like back to the original question, am I worried about AI and 3D figures? I think at the end of the day, like AI is a tool, and it's out of the box. It's not going back in the box. It's only going to get better at what it does. But at the end of the day, the AI can create something that is a good starting point, maybe, but it's not going to get what I see when I look at something and I'll be like, "Hey, yeah, that's good. That's great. It's perfect." I'm still going to have to go in there and fix it and tweak it and make it the way I see it, because the way I see it is how my brain operates, not the way that algorithm operates. And that if you look at the stuff we make through UVD Toys, yes, I work with very talented artists, very talented sculptors, very talented production facilities. But like my thumbprint is in all of the things that we make, and Chris can attest to this as an artist that's worked with me, is that I come up with things that I want to add to the piece to make it work in 3D, and that's what I bring to the table. Yeah. So until AI can like import my brain and how it works on the given day when I'm working on that project, it's not going to replace what I'm doing. Yeah, it could make a version of a thing, but it's not my version of the thing, and it's not the thing that I sell. So, and part of the reason that I do this is because I'll look at stuff that other people make and I'm like, I think we could make it better. So like, until that feeling goes away, and yes, some company may come out with AI versions of things that people really love, but I'll still be over here putzing along, making my stuff and figuring out a new way to keep bringing my vision with the artists that we work with and their vision to life. So I'm not worried about AI replacing what I'm doing at the moment. I wish it would replace the spreadsheet work that I have to do.
That's what it was supposed to do, right? It was supposed to make our lives easier, not start with the arts. Like, what a weird thing for AI to be really pushing is like arts and movies and shit like that.
Yeah, I
I think
mean,
it's
like the replacement of movies are replacing the like extras with like AI people. So they don't even pay those extras that much. Like, how much money you really saving?
I think it's good for people for like reference and stuff like that. Because I mean, I'm sure you could plug in like crazy things that you wouldn't see in normal every day, and then paint from that reference. I could maybe see people doing it that way. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think it'll be accepted as a tool. Um, Generative AI is kind of hard because it is pulling from other things. But if you already have your artistic ability or your character or whatever you want to call it, and then you're using that to like, hey, how would my character look if he was like driving a car or something? I think it might give you a good reference point for like being
Yeah.
able to draw that angle because maybe you weren't sure how he would look, at like a 3/4 turn or something.
Yeah, and I mean, I think as long as it's being used as a tool, it'll be good. The problem is the corporations will start to use it as a final product, and they're already doing
Yeah,
it. Like you go to like Home Goods or something. I'm sure if you walk around, there's AI produced artwork in the framed photo section.
yeah, and then I know there's the whole talk of the environment and all the water it uses and stuff like that.
Which
Unfortunately, it's like you said, it's already kind of the toothpaste is
It's
out of
out
the
of the
tube, and
yeah
the individual person like us or an artist, it's the same with like recycling. I recycle, but I'm not making that much of an impact. It's mostly the big corporations and companies that are doing all this giant impact.
yeah. And I mean,
So,
at the end of the day, we're in what people are describing as the AI boom. This is like 1999 and the .com boom,
mhm.
right? Like there's all this money being poured into AI. There's all these chips being made. There's all this stock markets going crazy for AI companies and all that kind of stuff. And then guess what? There'll be a few of those companies that rise to the top, and then there'll be a bunch of them that fail, and that boom will go, and a bunch of these little AI apps will go away, and that's just how it'll be. But yeah, like ChatGPT is probably not going anywhere, right? They're going to figure it out. But some of these companies are not going to figure it out, and then they'll eventually go after what pays. What people are using it for, that what actually gets the money is what will be the result of AI. And I don't know if it'll end up being models, 3D models or whatever. It'll probably be more something like, you know, replacing humans from doing spreadsheets. And there probably will be an element of it for like videos and things like that. I mean, I saw, the Coke's getting a lot of flack because they had that AI commercial.
yeah,
Um, but it looks like AI. Like, yeah, it might fool you because it's only like 15 seconds long or whatever, but like it clearly is AI, So like until they can fool everybody, I don't think it's going to be a super successful,
I mean,
tool.
you say clearly, but the powers that be, the people 60 plus really seem to think all this shit looks very real. I'm sure you've seen somebody post something stupid on Facebook of like a polar bear saving children from a burning house, and people are like, oh my God, how does polar bear do this? So there are enough dumb people out there.
it's
Yeah,
the same people that told us to stay off the internet and not trust anybody
Yeah, exactly.
20 years ago.
yeah. I mean, I think AI is dangerous in the like fact where it can like make people sound like they're saying things that they never said.
that that's the
Yeah,
scary thing.
yeah, yeah. As far as like, I think in the arts, it's always going to be challenged in some ways because it's either going to look AI, or it's going to be clear that this person is not a successful artist that created it. They just came out of nowhere or something, right? Like uh, it's just always going to be like until it gets way better, or maybe you run like we ran every Chris painting from like 1999 till now through the algorithm. Like you would have to train the algorithm to look like your art, right? Like I think that would have to be part of it, because at the end of the day, it only operates off of historicals. It doesn't have its own ideas yet. It only operates based on, yeah, it can run calculations and it can do this and it can do that, but it doesn't have its own ideas yet.
So Skynet hasn't taken over yet.
No, I mean, I asked my phone while I was driving what time Best Buy closed, and I couldn't figure that shit out. I kept like doing the diddle diddle like it was thinking, then it would go away. I was like, oh, cool. Like,
Oh,
what
and
a easy thing to ask.
I love if you use AI, like like if you use AI and you try to like get it to do something, and once it gets confused, like it can't unconfuse itself. Like it just keeps like making mistakes over and over again. Let's see. Oh, we've hit the point on Instagram where we've exceeded 1 hour. So
Yep, it's over.
we have to reconnect it if we want to do that. Or we can just let it run and just stay with the YouTube people. That's probably fine too. But yeah, so that's what we've learned, that you can only be on Instagram for an hour.
Mhm.
So look at that. But yeah, I mean, I really think, you know, the key here is that as long as there are art collectors that appreciate original ideas, original creations, original artwork, it's always going to still need, you know, it's always going to still need a person behind it. Like it's just going to need it, you know. And at the moment, I'm not worried that I will be replaced, because if AI is being used to make money, they're not going to do it on making 3D models for designers.
I guess one way to look at it is that, you know, the camera was invented, but we still needed painters, you know.
Yeah.
And the cool kids are on YouTube anyway. That's what the Lost thing said. But yeah, I mean, like you're still going to need, like, I feel like it's, you know, like there are things that are going to get replaced by it. There are, right? Like, I mean, things will get replaced by AI. This is no different than when the computer came into the workplace and suddenly you didn't have to use, you know, a typewriter. Like, when was the last time you saw a typewriter in your office? Like, who has a typewriter? That's not like just using it as a decoration, you know, like it's typewriters got replaced. You know, that's just kind of, it's a tool that's going to replace some tools, and some of those tools are going to happen to be humans, right? And you know, you go into like an office, and they, you know, so you have people that were just like typing up papers. Like those people don't exist anymore. Like they're just, they now have the person that is creating it just created in the computer. Like used to, you would give them like, here's what I want the paper to say, and they would type it up, you know. Like that's not a thing anymore. So like, yes, things will change because a new tool has been introduced, but like, is it going to do away with things in the arts? I think the answer is no. The people that I think are most at risk in the arts are like graphic designers and like
Yeah.
people like
Yeah,
that,
people doing
where it's like,
logos and stuff.
yeah, that's the people that are at risk, which I feel for those people, definitely. But if you're really good at making logos or really good at graphic design and coming up with new and interesting ideas, then you'll still rise above the crop. So like, again, honing your skills is a part of that. But like somebody that's just like, make me a cheap ass logo, and they pay you $30 for it, like that's the people that are probably most at risk, you know.
Thinning the herd.
Yeah, an artist. It's funny. I wasn't talking about AI, but I was just talking about kind of like the downtrend in art in general. And I won't say who this artist was in case it offends some people, but they were like, it's kind of like they were like, I'm still doing pretty good. It's kind of nice because it does seem to be thinning out the herd of kind of like the noise of people that kind of came in that are just kind of doing this as a hobby, and it's not like a real career for them. I mean, how do you feel about that, Chris?
You know, it's kind of funny because COVID definitely produced a whole group of like hobby artists that,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, listen, more power to them. They created and they did, you know, they did what they wanted to do, and you know, they experienced it and this, that, and next thing. But when it comes down to it, the you know, the ones who are serious are what they're going to stick with it no matter what.
Mhm.
So the work might not progress because that, you know, they might not have, you know, certain skills or whatever, but it is going to time thins the herd no matter what.
Sure.
You know, like, you know, if I didn't love doing this, you know, I wouldn't stay up the hours that I stay up. I wouldn't be doing it 30 plus years. You know, it's just the group of artists that I think that came out right after COVID or during COVID. I think it was just such an influx, and things like materials became a lot easier to use. Everybody was stuck at home, so 3D printing became easy. You
Mhm.
know, and I mean, not for nothing. I was talking about somebody the other day about this, and I remember seeing the first 3D piece in an art gallery in like 1997 or 98, and they were these little tiny figures that were, you could see all the striation marks. It looked horrible compared to now, but thinking back, on that, 30 years ago, it was incredible. And then talking to the gallery owner and finding out that that printer that didn't do amazing work was 30 grand. Now here we are, 30 years later, you can get one at Staples for like $100. It's kind of crazy that, and I think that's one thing that I think people ran out and did, and it's gonna get tiresome for those people who don't really care about doing it. It's like I
Yeah.
said, time really will thin the herd no matter what, whether it's you know the lack of love for it or the loss of love for it, the frustration with all of it. I mean, it's art's gonna if you give a shit about art, you're gonna art. That's it. you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a labor of love, right? And
Yeah.
then the people that are in it just for the success tend to get thinned out because for a lot of people there's no success, or there's small
Yeah.
successes, and life gets in the way and they can't make a living off of it, so they move on to something else. That's just how it is. Art is one of those things that, like, there are a few people that create a lot of success comparative to the people that are doing it, right? It's a very small percentage of the people that
Yeah.
are at the level of like making millions and living off of this.
Well, that's
Um,
that's a that's a whole nother farce that
yeah,
when you think
Yeah.
about the art thing. I mean,
yeah,
we're here and we're making, what we make. And when we sell it, we're not making this money that other artists make. Like that's one thing I think people forget is like in the toy scene, the whatever scene you want to call this, it's not a big buck scene. You're not selling a painting for 30 grand every week. You
yeah.
know, you're sitting here selling paintings for a couple hundred, possibly a couple thousand if you're into that, if you're in that market. But I think people I think people get this delusional sense of, oh, I sold one painting for, say $1,000. Now I'm going to say every painting for $1,000. That's just not really how
Yeah.
it works.
But I think too, from a fan perspective, and some artists like that, right? Is that a lot of fans think these folks are, super famous, like they're cruising right alongside the Kardashians or something. And
Yeah.
it's like, a lot of these people are just normal people trying to make a living. And because we're not that like highbrow gallery, I guess highbrow is that the right term, Chris? They're like the contemporary
Well,
gallery, like we're not
yeah.
we're not that scene. And some of the artists get to dip their toes in that scene, and some of the artists that are making toys are that scene. But those people are, the minority, not the majority. The majority of people are either the mid-tier artist that's got a career that's been selling art paintings for a long period of time, or the people that are just kind of getting in it, starting out, kind of making, kind of like their own thing. And maybe that person is not necessarily painting paintings. They're like starting out their creations or toys, the toy artist or whatever you want to call them. Um, and that it's a grind, because like you think, oh, I made this amazing thing, I'm going to sell it, and then it doesn't sell, right? Because part of it is they're not just buying into the thing. Like oftentimes people confuse, I have a really good idea and I'm going to make this into a toy, or I'm going to make a painting of it, and then when it doesn't sell they get very frustrated. And collectors aren't necessarily just buying into something that they think looks cool. They're
Oh,
also
yeah.
buying into the artist and the story behind it, and the story behind the character maybe, or what the piece is trying to say. So like just having a cool idea is not necessarily just going to sell whatever it is that you made. Like you
Well,
have to
and
put the work in behind it to build your career and build the marketing behind that piece.
and
That's a part of the whole thing.
to touch on that too, specifically with the art toy community, I know there's artists out there that get frustrated because they see other people's work and they may think they're making way cooler stuff or way better stuff or the way better quality stuff, but why is this person always selling out and I'm not? Don't get super discouraged, because this is a really weird sometimes community where people will collect stuff just based on hype, and their thing may not be better. You may be more talented. A lot of it is luck. Every few years there's like a handful of like the favorites, and then the favorites go away. So
Yeah.
your time may come. Just keep at it.
Also,
and
also with this scene too, I think people don't realize numbers too. When they see something is sold out, people are like, "Oh my god, that sold out." Then you come to find out that it was 5 made,
Yeah.
and in reality, it's amazing that it sold out, 100%. But as a person looking at it from the outside, who gets sad or upset because that person's work did sell out, you have to take into consideration, if there's 5 made and that artist has even just 5 collectors, that's why it sells out that quick. It's not necessarily the mainstream people jumping at it.
Yeah, and if they sold it 5 of them at $500,
Yeah.
or $100 a piece, 5 of them at $100 a piece, $500. Take out the materials, and again, we're back to how much money do they really make?
Yeah.
Like financially, is this a success for them? I mean, they probably spent a lot of time and materials in those pieces.
Yeah.
And
There is the gratification of, oh, it did sell out, and I get that, and I get hyped on when stuff sells out, but
Yeah.
you can't let other people's quote unquote success be your downfall. That's
yeah. They're probably not quitting their day job, is all I'm saying, for 5 pieces at $100 a piece.
Yeah. and when you were talking about like fame and stuff like that, I do wonder if we'll get to that here, because it is that way in China. And then just this year, over the last 8 months, that boom has come over here, and people come in and they know who Casing Lung is, and Kenny Wong, and that didn't used to be a thing. Like a year ago, people just thought they were trinkets or little cute girls or toys or figures they could put on their shelf. They didn't tie it to an artist. But now people in the States are starting to, that are like the mainstream type collectors that aren't necessarily an art toy collector. They just wanted to get a mystery figure.
I see what you're saying, but the days of the art star is long gone. I mean, there's not gonna be like an artist who's on television, like say like Warhol was, where
Sure.
like
he
shows up.
I get that.
Keith,
he's
like Keith Haring's or any of those kind of people. Yeah.
Right. That era is over, and no artist is getting free food at Mr. Chow's. It's not like that's not what it is anymore. And
no, but we were talking to Drill, and he was talking about how he, when he would have a Dunny release, he'd have a line around the block, and he'd be signing from like 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. That kind of stardom, I think, could come back.
Yeah, like the niche stardom.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a specific market stardom.
Yeah.
Niche.
I
don't speak French. I'm sorry.
Oh, we got.
I knew we kind of touched on that in the beginning, but
yeah. So to recap, the decision to move CollectedCon to LA. So at the end of CollectedCon 2025, we were doing a bunch of math, and realizing that the math was not mathing at our venue in Chicago. So we decided to look for other venues. Some of those were in Chicago. We did not find one that solved all of our problems, which is getting costs down while maintaining similar size of space. And we'd started looking at a couple of other places as well. So we found this venue in LA that allowed us to maintain our size of space and also get costs down for vendors, because cost to vendor was a big problem. And then also cost to us was also a big problem at our current venue. So since we found a place that seemed to make the math, we thought we would give it a go and see if we can kind of build this up. And then from there, the goal would be to continue to evaluate doing other smaller shows in other cities. So Chicago is not necessarily off the table. It's just probably for this year, we are doing one show and then evaluating from there once we know if it's a success or not.
So with that said, if you're in Chicago, you should come out to California to make the show a success so we can come back to Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a bit of an ask, but yeah.
DangerBot says Tampa ? Hell no.
It's too sweaty.
I say Florida all the time. Nobody wants to listen to me.
Hey, I can get into Busch Gardens for free once a year, so I can go once a year.
Maybe if we do a small show, we could do it here, but there's like almost no.
We could do it in the
nobody in the scene here. There's like a handful, and that's it.
Do it in the parking lot of Strange Cat.
I mean, yeah, we could go on that scale for sure. That's about it.
We're gonna get tents and hope for no rain.
Hey, it rains once a day in Florida, so we just have to have a break at 1 o'clock.
That's true.
Until 2 o'clock. See. Oh, I like this comment. It's from a while ago. We were talking about AI, but we could put all of our podcasts through AI, and we could probably make podcasts for when we can't meet up. Just tossing it out there.
Can we put it through AI and make all our voices sound cooler?
Vance said seemed like a downer to have a Midwest show for a brief moment and then take it away. Yeah, it is a downer. We didn't want to leave. We all love Chicago. We love the people there. It's much closer for all of us. It wasn't because we didn't want to stay. It just we just couldn't make stuff work. But like Travis said, it's not to say that we won't ever do something there again.
Yeah, and this podcast is about being honest. So math-wise, had we not moved somewhere, whether that was in Chicago or another city, there would not have been another show likely at the venue we had in Chicago. We're thousands of dollars upside down on this.
Mm-hmm.
We are, Rotofugi, UVD Toys, Strange Cat, and Chris RWK were funding a very nice party for everyone to come to in Chicago. And mathematically, we could not continue to do that. We had to change what we were doing because otherwise, we can't.
Booths would have been like, I don't know, 1,600, and tickets would have been like 65 if we really wanted to stay, and that just doesn't work. And then unfortunately, we didn't get, again, as much as we love Chicago and all the Midwest people that came out, including artists, we just weren't getting that influx of Midwest artist support. More than half of our vendors traveled in from either the West Coast or the East Coast.
Yeah, and then also too, I mean, it was difficult year 2 because of everything that happened at the beginning of this year with the economy and everything. But difficult year 2 to get even the goal was to grow in Chicago, and that just did not happen in 2025. So it was just difficult to get the number of vendors we needed to make it a financial success. But we did not bail out and ghost on it. We tossed in the money to make it happen. But we just can't keep doing that year after year and still continue to put on a show for you guys. The goal is to create space for people to be able to showcase their art, and it just did not work in that venue and at the scale we were trying to do it. Chicago's venues are mostly set up for if your show is going to be relatively large, mid-size, or really small. Those are the two levels. Our show was in the middle, and it was very hard for us to be successful because we were being charged prices as if we were a big show, but we were only bringing in revenue like we were just out of a small show.
We were getting charged the same prices as the DNC.
The DNC was going to be there, and we're getting paying the same prices as the DNC. So again, we would love to find a venue that would work in Chicago for what we're trying to do, but it's probably going to be more of a market, less of a con.
Yeah.
It could not probably be a con scale.
Which if somebody is local in Chicago and wants to set that up, I think they definitely should. I think you'd get, a couple dozen artists out.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a market there. It's just mathematically it was not working for us, so that's why we had to look other places, and the place we found just happened to not be in Chicago. It was not our intent was to find somewhere in Chicago initially, but we just could not find it. Let's see. I'm trying to read through all these comments here. People are getting excited about why we moved.
DangerBot says have a show in the Midwest and then taking away is pretty Midwest thing to happen. Is that right, Travis? I'm not a Midwesterner.
Yeah, I mean, lots of things happen in the Midwest and then they don't happen anymore. And again, I think probably if you ask a lot of those things, it's a math problem. At the end of the day, most things in events are a math problem, right? So there's probably a reason that some things don't happen in certain areas, and that's part of what we're looking at here. I do think there's, like I said, I think it's just a matter of scale, and our goal was to continue to grow. And if you want to do something that was smaller, you could probably make it work in Chicago, and maybe someday we will, just not in 2026.
Probably never in Florida. Just saying.
Corey loves having travel costs.
It's also hot as shit here. Just saying. You can't walk anywhere.
Yeah, but the convention halls are air conditioned. You're not out in the sun.
Oh, I thought we were doing it in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's what Travis suggested.
Could we set up like a sprinkler that we could run through to cool off?
So what else you guys want to talk about? I mean, we've been going way over our normal time. So
I'd say we should probably wrap it up and, keep them wanting more for the next one.
Yeah, because otherwise we'll probably just ramble on about random things for who knows how long. So, the thing about not doing a show for 18 months and then not going back and listening to the old show is I don't exactly remember how we ended the shows, but what I will say is that you've been listening to the Urban Robot Cat podcast, and we're very happy to have you rejoin us after 18, 20 months. I don't remember how long it is since we last did a show, but our goal is to do this more often and talk with you guys more. The best way you can help out with that is if you can share, anytime we're posting about being on, continue to grow this thing, get the word out on designer toys, on art, on things going on with us here at Strange Cat, Chris RWK, and UVD Toys. And then, of course, for us to help get information out about Collecticon and hopefully continue to grow that as well. So if you want to check us out, you can follow me at UVD Toys.
You could follow me at Chris RWK. I got a couple of shows coming up in 2026. Come on out, say hello.
You can follow me at Strange Cat Toys on all the social medias. We do have a show coming up with Coven of Cuteness, so look out for that post.
Ooh, nice.
And then you should follow at Collecticon as well, so you can keep up with the latest things as far as releases and information as far as the event's concerned. But always follow at Urban Robot Cat, or check out Urban Robot Cat podcast on iTunes, where we'll post this tomorrow. For you guys to be able to listen to it if you're one of those people that listens to these things in your car. So, as always, this is the show about art and the people who make it.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.